All right, guys, we have some good bread, pre-buttered. We've already kind of set things up so we can run through this griddle session. We have shredded cheese, and I'm not going to lie to you, this cheese is okay, but it's mostly for color. And then we have some sliced provolone cheese to go on top of these burgers, and it also has pre-seasoned garlic, pepper, salt. First things first, we got to prep our griddle. I've already heated it up real well and cleaned it with water and a paper towel. And now we're just going to oil it. And I've said this on many of my other videos, the right amount of oil is important. If you over oil it, it starts to get gooey and sticky. If you see that build up on your griddle, it's too much. So you put just the right amount, and it takes a little bit of experimentation, but I put just the right amount on my griddle. And we're going to go ahead and spread it around. It's almost just like a black iron skillet. Nice and seasoned and been cooked on a lot. The griddle's lubed up. Let's go ahead and throw our patties on. We're going to get those cooking first. What you want to hear is a little sizzle when you throw it on. So I've heard different things about cooking hamburgers, and now these are kind of thin and pre-formed and pre-made, so we're cheating a little bit. But the different things I've heard is you only want to flip a hamburger once. So you probably could cook 3 to 5 minutes on one side, flip it 3 to 5 on the other. I always check to make sure it's cooked through and through. But it depends what temperature your griddle or grill is, and it depends how thick the meat is. But it's kind of a feel thing. So I'm going to try to flip these one time so that we don't touch the meat any more than we have to. It'll retain a lot of the juices and fats that we like so much about hamburgers. So guys, I'm cheating a little bit. I like to bring the cheese out, and it's so hot outside down here during the summer that the cheese actually starts to melt on the tray. It's also kind of adjacent to the griddle, but it starts to melt and starts to get soft. So what happens is when I throw it on the griddle, on the meat, I don't have to cook the meat really anymore. I'm just melting the cheese. So I don't overcook the meat trying to melt the cheese. All right, we're gonna hack these burgers just a little bit because I'm not a perfect timer or measure. I kind of do it by feel. We're gonna peek and see how cooked it is on the other side. Let's just pull up one edge just a little bit. Uh-oh, time to flip it. Let's go. Perfect, perfect. I can tell this one here is cooking a little hotter. So we're gonna pull a little to this, pull this guy over. There we go. What's my next step? Well, I have buttered bread, I have cheese out here. I'm gonna go ahead and get those going in a minute or two. So I know I have another 2 or 3 minutes on these burgers on this side. I'm gonna start to get the buns and cheese melted and toasted so that the minute these burgers are done, I set them on the bun with the cheese and they're off to a plate. The beauty, guys, about the Blackstone griddle, and I'm not selling it, I'm just saying it's for anyone to use. You don't have to be perfect to use it. It's very forgiving as long as you don't have the heat turned up too high. You can cook about anything and not mess it up. Number one rule on the Architect's griddle is that there's no mistakes unless you burn it. So if you keep your griddle at a decent temperature enough to cook but not burn it, it's really hard to mess it up. If you turn the griddle up too high, it's really easy to burn stuff. I'm telling you right now, these burgers are ready. They're beautiful. We're gonna throw these buns on and get those going. Again, they're pre-buttered. Let's just put them face down, and I like to kind of just move it a little bit so it doesn't stick. All right, these burgers are cooking perfectly. They're ready to come off. The buns, oh, they're looking pretty good. That looks ready. Yes, and they're hot. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's flip these. Let's go ahead and flip the bottoms. We're gonna go ahead and set a burger on 2 of them. The other one is just cheese only burger with no burger. We're going to go ahead and put our pre-melted cheese on top. Let that just kind of melt. Oh man, it smells wonderful. The cheese is melting beautifully. Oh, we can't forget our little grilled cheese here. Hey, the next video we're gonna do is gonna be a gourmet grilled cheese sandwich with some wonderful Havarti, which is not cheap by the way, and some other specialty cheeses on some beautiful sourdough bread. It's gonna be a great video. That'll be next. These are cooking so well right now. I'm gonna pull these other burgers off because we know those are good to go. Beautiful, beautiful. One of the worst things you can do is overcook a burger. No one wants to eat a dried out, tough, chewy burger. So these thinner burgers, you cook them through and through, make sure they get really good and hot, you're good to go. Again, it's hard to mess up on the Blackstone. All right, we're gonna pull these guys off. They're ready. The cheese is melting. Let's put these guys up here and let's put the lids on them. Woo, it's hot. And our grilled cheese is even ready. Think we can grab that one, just pick them up. Here it is. These are so hot I can't even bite into it right now. I'm gonna give it a second and try, but the burger's cooked perfectly, the cheese is melted. It's a beautiful presentation. 4th of July, what more do you want than a swimming pool and a good cheeseburger? Happy griddling.